Hello there, my name's Vince from My Mate Vince, and in this video today we're going to be looking at this Bang & Olufsen video player. So this is actually quite a modern one as far as video players are concerned, and it is turning on. You can see we have lights there, but the buttons don't seem to be doing anything. But yet when I press different things initially before it locks up, it does come up with different things here. So it looks like it's partially working. I put a videotape in, and now unfortunately it won't come out. It's not playing, it's not rewinding, it's not doing anything. Let's pop this on the tripod and show you what I mean. So if you look at this, eject, nothing. Rewind, play, fast forward, record. Nothing. As far as I can see, there's no other buttons on here. So it's not ejecting, so I can't get the tape out and nothing's changing. If I unplug this and then plug it back in, just make sure everything's drained, you can see it's gone off from here, so it's definitely communicating with the TV. I've got it plugged in via SCART at the moment, just on the back here. You can see this massive big connector here. I don't believe you have them in America. They were good connectors for their time. Now let's plug this in here. And watch this. It will come alive. So I can hear, here's something whirring there. So watch this. If I press eject. Right, so nothing happens on eject. Play. Right, that comes alive there. And it will go to here. And it just says load. So it's like it's stuck on load. I'm sure it said something else before, but I can't get that video out. So I don't really know what to do on this. First of all, let's see how old this is, how much it costs when it was new, because Bang & Olufsen, it will be quite expensive, but I think this was the cheaper end of their products. And let's take the back off and see if we can see something. Would it be some belt that's perished and that's why it's not doing anything? Weird thing is it's locked up. I can't hear motors moving right now. So I don't actually know how I'm going to fix this, but it might be interesting. Right, so this one is a Beocord V8000, and that's the type there, 14609. And there's something happened with the VHS market that I don't know about, because I would have bought this probably 2 or 3 years ago now for, taking a guess, at around about £30 or maybe even less. I don't understand it. The prices here are all over the place. So there's some that's really high, but then there's some that's really low. I mean, this is just ridiculous. But then you have one for £35 there. I haven't clicked on them, but lots of them are for ridiculously high money, which seems very, very odd. So yeah, maybe VHS is making a comeback. Don't know. Anyway, let's find out what year this is from. So looking at BioWorld online, it says here that it is from 1998 to 2005. Came in a variety of different colours. David Lewis was the designer, and it says here that it could rewind a 3-hour tape in 95 seconds, and it shifted from fast forward to play in a split second. So rewinding that much was pretty good, because back in the day when you hired something from Blockbuster or Variety Video, if you live near me, then you always had to rewind the tape. Otherwise, they used to give you a fine off around about 25 or 30p back then, which was a lot of money because it was only a couple of pounds to actually hire the video in the first place. On BeoCentral.com, it's got the prices down as £850 in 1998 to £880 in 2005. Let's see what that is in today's money. And £880 in 2005 equals £1,533. So even though this is a cheaper product for Bang & Olufsen, it's still expensive for the average person. So you can see that not many people would really be able to afford these. Now let's get over to the blue mat, take it apart. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we might be able to see something obvious on the inside and we might get it working again. I'm going to say, because of the age of it, I wonder if it's capacitor related. So take a little guess now. I've shown you the symptoms. Let's try and fix this, and hopefully by the end I might be able to show you Homeward Bound working again. Right, just get this out of the way at the very beginning. I am not an expert in these repairs. I've only ever looked at one VHS player before. I'm not going to be doing this in a professional way whatsoever. If I can get it working in any way, shape or form, I'm going to be over the moon. The very least, if I can get my Homeward Bound VHS tape back out again, I will be happy. So now you know the level of my skill. Let's get started and see if we can get this apart. Currently, amazingly, there's no videos on repairing this on YouTube. So mine is going to be the first one, which is unheard of in YouTube. You never get that nowadays. So yeah, that's quite nice. Right, I can only see, I think, 2 screws here and here. So let's start there. Often you have a little diagram telling you how to pull this apart. There probably is a service thing online somewhere. I haven't read it. Let's just see. There we go. Look at that. That's come straight off there. That's nice. Well, it's loosened it up. Hold on. Now, often on the inside, B&O products won't be, they might be something else. They might be like Phillips or something. So a lot of this might be just repackaged in Bang & Olufsen design. I don't think there's anything wrong in that. These screws feel like they're captive. They're not coming out. Well, so far, that's good. Does that uncover any more? Yeah. So we now have screws here and here, and I presume the other side as well. I'm going to say that I'm going to be the first one in here, because I bought this quite a few years ago. And from memory, the seller looked like he was just kind of like emptying stuff out of his house or his parents' house or something like that. Now, is this going to come apart? No. Oh, wants to lift up though. Oh, well, there we go. I can see my tape. We are in. Fantastic. Right, obviously I'm unplugged. Do you know what? That might polish up nicely. It's actually in pretty good condition. I'm hoping those that might just come off with a bit of wet cloth, microfiber or something. Looks a good finish. You know, looking at that there, it looks like something you'd get on a car. You know, the finish is really, really nice. If you were really into these products, I bet you could use something like, you know, like when you're polishing up a car, some demon shine or something. I bet it would come up an absolute treat. Right, okay, I have got my, oh, look, there's a chip in a socket there. Interesting. Now, it hasn't loaded the tape up, is it? Because there's no tape here. So although it took the tape in, it didn't go any further than that. So now, first of all, can I see anything obvious? It's just ram-packed with stuff. It all looks incredibly clean though. I think I'm going to struggle. So as far as I can see, it's not responding to any of the buttons. Is it not responding to the buttons because it doesn't know that a tape's in here? Because obviously play, fast forward and rewind and record is not going to work unless it recognises the tape. So is there a micro switch in here somewhere that knows when the tape's been installed? So I think that's what we kind of need to look at, because it's only loaded the tape so much with this here. Oh, here we go. I got my tape back. Right, I have got my tape back. Excellent. So far, so good. Now, how does it know when a tape's been pushed in? So you push this in here and you're going to use force, but then how does it, what takes over when you push it in? So it goes into there. Then you push it down. So this thing's moving around here. Can you see this one here? That's moving. Is anything else moving? That goes to there, and then it drops a little bit. Oh, there we go. Now, it's dropped down. Did it drop down before like that? I don't know if it did. I think it was like that. Did it drop all the way? Right, I seem to annoyingly have locked it into place. I wonder now, is it going to work? Because look, it's locked into place. Let's keep our hands well away. Where's the main power? So the main power comes in here, so I've got to keep my hands well away from here. I'll keep my hands well away from everything. I want to see, is it going to work now? Now, before we see if the video player is going to work, I want you to see if you can solve this. So what we have here is a giraffe, believe it or not. Back leg, front leg, body, neck, head. So you can see it's moving along this direction here. You can only move one PCB way, and you have to change the direction of the giraffe. Now, it might not necessarily be this way, it could be going up that way or down this way, but you can only move one to change. So hopefully you might have worked it out. Have you? How about if we were to go this way here? Now you've worked it out, haven't you? Just move that to there, and boom! We've changed the direction of the giraffe by only moving one PCB way. And of course, this video today is sponsored by PCB Way. PCB Way is your one-stop solution for all things PCB fabrication and assembly. From rapid prototyping to full-scale production, PCB Way delivers top-quality products. So whether you're a seasoned engineer or a hobbyist just starting out, PCB Way's user-friendly interface makes ordering your own custom PCBs very easy. And PCB Way do a variety of different services, including but not limited to assembling your PCBs, CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, and injection moulding. So when you're ready to take your designs to the next level, look no further than PCB Way and bring your ideas to life. So as always, a massive thank you to PCB Way for sponsoring the My Mate Vince channel. Now let's plug in this video player and see if it's behaving any differently. I'm going to plug it in now and we'll see what it does. Okay, here we go. That spun for a second, didn't it? Let's press play. No, still not doing anything. Right, this one works though. This is to do standby. So you hold that down for 3 seconds and then it will go into standby. So that's definitely working because you can see that there now. That's spinning. But then that stops. Let me just show you standby. So look at this here. Hold that down for 3 seconds. This is designed for use with a remote controller, Beocord, which I think Mike gave me one, so I might be able to pull that out later. And then to turn it on, I think you just hit play. There we go. Right, so it's got nothing to do with that. Keeping my hands away from those caps. Just want to see if I can. No. Right, let's turn it off. I'm going to unplug it again. So I'm not quite sure why it's locked in now and it wasn't locked in before. So I might have made life difficult for myself. So that's the thing, that's the tape head, that does the reader, doesn't it? Oh, here we go, it's coming out again. What I want to know is, how does it know that a tape's in here? It's just crazy, the mechanisms. It really is. Oh, we've got a little rubber band back here. Can you see on that motor just here? There's a rubber band going down. Now, I wonder, what's that responsible for? That's responsible for this. Could it be that that brings this in? Could it be that that's slipping or not bringing it down far enough? Let's take that band off and see how loose or tight it is. And to be fair, it does seem pretty round, doesn't it? It's not oblong. That might be okay. I think the first thing we should do, because I've just got my suspicions about this belt, because it doesn't seem to be, you know, the very first time we did it, the tape wasn't fully down. I think I'm just going to get a smaller belt, just for the time being, just to see if it behaves any differently. That's a shame, none of these are suitable. That's like the smallest one, but that's around about the same size as that, and it's super thin, so it's not going to have the strength of that one. I have just got an elastic band, but it's very weak. I might just try to put that one on. I just want to see if it's behaving any differently. Well, it seems to be fighting me back. You know, it's not going past that point there, because it can't because of the locks. But it doesn't seem to be just spinning in my hand, so that might be a tighter belt. Let's plug it in and see now what happens. Here goes. It's like it's sitting up and down. No, do you see what it's doing there? It's kind of going up and down. Now it's locked up. See, when we put the tape in, I wonder, should it load up the tape even without pressing play? I'm thinking it should, and it's not doing that, is it? So it's not, you know, it's not pulling the tape out. Maybe we need to look at that. Let's plug it in again. Because it should be wrapping the tape up around, something should be coming, like these should be coming out or something, to wrap the tape around here. Why are these arms not coming out? So I think these arms here should be coming out. Why are they not coming out? Like always, if you had a working one, then it would be easier just to copy that. I haven't. And this needs to load itself up or down. Does it not? This here, this pinch roller needs to load itself up or down. Because look, that can't spin up here, can it? That has to go down against this to spin. Oh look, I think that should keep on turning to bring that down into position. If you have a look, you see this, let's call it a timing wheel here, yeah? That timing wheel goes onto this, let's call it a pinch roller. You can see there's a gear at the bottom of the pinch roller, and it starts to turn that. It looks like it's on a spiral, and I think it should bring that pinch roller down. Maybe it's the pinch roller that grabs the tape that then moves these up. Don't know. Right, okay, so let me tell you what's confusing me.
Everything.
Obviously, it could be an electronic thing, capacitor related, but I don't understand why the tape isn't like sitting fully down. To me, it looks like it's a loading problem. So now let's mimic the tape being in here. We're going to be looking around this area here. So we're going to be pushing the tape in here, which moves it past this first little lock. So let's push that down, no, up that way, and then up this way, and that gets it to that one. Now watch what happens here. This is going to lock against here. So then we have to lift this up here to get past that lock, yeah? Now it's all very happy, but it locks on that one. So we lift it up again, and it goes past there, because when we have the tape in, that will automatically be lifted. And now look, it drops down, yeah? And it seats itself there. But then there's resistance. Now, this is where this one here like takes over. And if I move it now, you can see it moves to there, but it won't go any further. So if you have a look at this bit here, it won't go any further now. So it will only go to, as it comes down, it drops, it goes to there, and it's refusing to go anymore. And I'm wondering, is it refusing to go anymore? Because this is like locked in. It wants to turn because it's on a spiral, but it can't turn because of... Why can't you go down? So you're not going down. Why? What's stopping you from pulling down as a whole? See, I wonder if we take that off, whether it would keep on spinning. Because it seems to be locked there. And maybe if we could get it past that lock, maybe then these would start to lift upwards. See, there's probably a tooth thing. Everything I look at is basically blocked by the camera. But there's probably a little male part coming down in here that goes in these grooves, you know, to do the different timing and stuff. And you see, I can't move this one now because of it's in here. Yeah. It's very hard to find out where the kind of blockage is coming from. But just because this is easy to get to, I'm going to try to take off this spring. Wow, that went flying. Well, 1 minute. Yes, luckily I found that within about 30 seconds. Right, okay. So now, let's see what happens now when we go along here. Still getting blocked there. Is there any way that this can come off? Because that's made no difference at all. Oh, ho, 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 ho. I think I found something. Now, what does the My Mate Vince channel hate more than anything else? White nylon gears that have cracked. Now, look at this. I was turning this by hand with my big head in the way, and basically I was wondering why this bottom one wasn't, this one here wasn't turning. So let's get rid of the locks a second. Locks, and move that one up. And let me just move the other side. Right, let's get to here. So, do you see this wheel down here, which did have the green rubber band around it? When I'm moving this here, that's not moving. So I'm moving this now, but my finger isn't moving round. This wheel is not moving round anywhere. Yep, so if you have a look, you're not going to be able to see, but that wheel isn't moving. And I thought, well, how's that possible? Because it's on an axle that goes all the way down here. And if you have a look up here, you can clearly see that this is moving. The most awkward thing to film. Right, look, can you see here? Yeah, so you can see that this is moving here because the end of that goes onto this little beveled wheel. So basically the drive belt at the back spins around this bevel wheel, yeah? And you can see that the bevel wheel is moving when I'm physically moving this, but obviously this needs to be moving this, not my finger. Now, let's zoom right into that wheel, that bevel wheel, and see what you can see. So, let that focus. Right, you ready? So we're looking at that tiny little bevel wheel just here. Now let's give it a turn, turn, boom. There you go. Can you see what's wrong? Boom. It's got a big crack in it. So I can physically turn the wheel at the back and it's moving. But if I put any resistance on this, I'm trying to balance this on my shoulder. So let's jab this in here. Hold on, where are we now? So I'm going to put this in here, and now I'm going to turn the wheel at the back. I'm turning the wheel at the back. You can see the axle moving. Have a look here. You can see that axle there is moving, but this isn't moving. So yeah, that might be the only problem. And then because it's not loading, the computer side of it is getting confused. So now, that's a bit of a nightmare because I don't really know what I can do with that. It's going to need a new gear, but you're not going to be able to buy them. I'll tell you what, let me have a quick look online just to see if you can get spares for this. No, I can't see any spares. Do you know what? I'm pleased about that because the thing is, I thought it wasn't loading properly, so I'm glad I didn't waste my time now, you know, looking elsewhere. Oh, here we go. Now look, if I use force, I hope I don't break it. Watch this. If I go here and use force, now it's turning. Can you see that's coming down there? That's coming up there. That's gone there. Now this is moving up. Look. Haha! Yes! Look at that! So now the tape's going to be wrapped around it, and can you see the pinch rollers come down? Oh, because it's in the timing wheel here. This is forcing the pinch roller to get into the timing wheel. There. Now we're in the proper position with this up here, tape wrapped round here, and maybe now that the timing wheel's in this position, it will do something. That takes an awful lot of force to get that round. Loads. It's amazing, you can just see everything moving. And that comes up. Oh, how am I going to do this thing down here? No idea how I'm going to do that. I think I'll be able to clip it out though from here. First things first, let's get this spring back on because this isn't anything to do with it. Wow, that was a lot easier than I thought. Let's get our rubbish little belt off. Right, so that's a belt off. Now, can I unclip this, I wonder? It looks like the motor is wrapped around it. The plastic thing for the motor is wrapped around that. Right, so you see the black plastic around this motor. That's basically sat on top of this spindle. So it's not an option just to kind of unclip it from there. But there is an option, I think, maybe to force it out from here. And that way then, I might have a chance of somehow gluing this back on and then sliding it through and putting that side back on. And it would be a lot easier, but I don't know if it's going to come out. Basically, I know this isn't going to be a proper fix because I've dealt with these before in the past and I've tried building up. I mean, you can already see there's no room. That plastic is right against that collar here. So there's no room, or the collar off the gear is right against this. So I can't build up with anything here like super glue and baking powder or anything like that because this is in the way here. So basically, I haven't actually got any way to fix that on there apart from using super glue. And I know full well, I can feel the amount of strain it takes to push this round. There's a huge amount of strain on that. And I just know it's just going to break. So unless you were to have another one that you could use that one from, I can't see how it's fixable. People are going to say about possibly 3D printing one. But you would have to design that yourself because, again, this is going to be too rare to have something where you could copy. You know, there's not going to. I can say with certainty that nobody would have done one of these. So I think I'm going to try to pop it out from here and see what. See if there's any way, because you can see it's going to come out from this bit here. So if I was to do it here, it might bend out of the way. Well, I wonder, could I slide it? Could I slide it backwards, then forwards? Do you know what I mean? If I could slide this back off the back side, I might be able to then just put it through. Apologies, with my eyes it's all very clear, it's just the camera's not seeing what I'm seeing because of the different angles. There you go, look at that, I've just pulled that right through from there. So that's just come straight out there, you can see that's there now. So this is the thing that we need to do something with that I know I'm not going to be able to. Let's see if we can now take this out, if I could take the end off this. So let's hold this with pliers, if I can take the... I don't even need to, do I? I don't need to take that, no I do. Because I need to get this onto there nicely and I'm going to struggle working in here. Let me try to take the other end off. Hoping I can pull it out. But the other end's stuck in very well. I thought I'd be able to get that out quite easy. Wow. Wow, that's not coming. Look at that. I just scraped up my thing. That hasn't budged at all. That side is on amazingly well. Alright, okay. So I have to try to... If I had a new one, you see, I could just put it on there and push it back in through this way. How am I even going to get it back in? This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. Let's have a close look at this here. I've messed around with these white nylon things long enough to know that they're not going to last well. The only time you can do it is sometimes if you glue them on and there's not much strain, it might work, but there's going to be a huge amount of strain on here. So that's it there. Has it gone right the way through? No, just to there. Okay, well let me fill it with super glue. Let's give it a good clean with IPA. And I'm going to try to scratch up the inside to give it more of a key. And then let's get some gloves on, get rid of all this white, pink sort of grease. Let's try to glue it on, but I know it's not going to be. I know it's not going to be a lasting fix. Also, I presume all the others of this age now, the same thing's happening. So depending on whether it's used or not, I don't think it really matters. I think what happens is the oils leave these after time. The metal axle doesn't shrink, but the oils leave these and shrink, so they have nowhere to go apart from breaking because they shrink and shrink and shrink on the metal. So obviously if the little shaft was plastic, the plastic would be shrinking probably at the same rate at this, but this is shrinking and the metal is not shrinking, and that's why it cracks. Maybe the resolution of this is quite big. You might actually be able to do that on a 3D printer. Okay, because sometimes with other gears I see they're absolutely tiny and people say, oh, you can 3D print them, and I don't think you can. But on this one I actually do think you would be able to 3D print that one because it's quite big. Clean it with isopropyl. I was just thinking another way. I wonder if I was to glue the crack, so try to open it, glue the crack, close it. If I was to fill up this here with some kind of baking powder or something and super glue and then re-drill it, if I was to drill it slightly smaller than what's here at the moment, I wonder would I be able to force it onto the shaft better. So that's exactly what I do. I jam some tweezers in there to try to open up the crack. I'm using other tweezers in those tweezers as a bit of leverage. And then I'm pouring some super glue into the crack. The problem is Annie actually getting into it? I'm not too sure because super glue's liquid, but is it liquid enough to really flow into all the bits of the crack? Probably not, so I'm using some tweezers to try to push it into the crack. And then I'm going to leave it in Marcel's vise for a good 10 minutes or so, clamped shut. That will hopefully give it a tiny bit more strength, but I know as soon as I put it on there, it's just going to start slipping again because it is just going to break along the same crack as it did before. So what I've got is I've got some bicarbonate of soda and I've got some super glue, and I'm filling up the actual hole with a bit of super glue and then pouring some bicarbonate of soda in, and because it's so fine it does actually work its way in. Again, the problem is that I don't know whether there's going to be voids which is just super glue rather than the bicarbonate of soda, because it's not going to fill every single part of it. But I do it in a kind of few different stages. So super glue, bicarbonate, another bit of super glue, bicarbonate, another bit of super glue and bicarbonate. Then I have to try to drill another hole using my little handheld drill set that I've got. But it's always the case, the bits are either too big or too small. So I want them smaller than the axle that's currently there, but not too small. But anyway, that's what I'm doing this bit here. It's not rocket science, but amazingly, the bicarbonate and superglue does actually work better than I thought it would do. I've been told about it for years and years. I think I've even used it in the past. But often I'm building something up. So if you can imagine, I'm building up a kind of mountain where the axle meets the gear and it just snaps again. But this way I'm kind of filling up a void, filling up the hole with it. It does seem to go actually rock hard. So when I'm drilling into it, it's taking quite a bit of force to drill out. So anyway, we've done that bit there. Now let's place it back on the machine and just use our fingers to see if it's working any better. Not very centralised, but may not make much difference. I think we need to put it up to the actual shaft and see what it feels like. Right, let's see what it feels like before I put any glue on it. Oh, okay. That's a bit annoying actually. So that didn't, I thought the whole, I thought the hole would be tighter. So this drill bit's clearly too big. But when I fill it with glue, it might be all right. I'm just going to try to make it go in further, and hopefully the end bit can be tight, because I want it tight on the shaft as well as using the glue. I don't really care if I go all the way through, because it's only going to be held in place anyway, because it can't go any further than this, you know what I mean? It can't go any further than this gear, the worm wheel gear going across here. Well, it certainly would be a lot easier if I could just put a new gear on here, and then this thing would be probably nearly as good as new. But hey ho, I am working with what I've got. Now, let's give a shout out to the My Mate Vince Massive while I'm doing this. The Massive members are the top level Patreons. The members this month are Keymon Services, Kip Hakes on YouTube, Max Rokotansky, Chris Seal,
Felipe at MrKeebs.com, DJVG, Pigsy, Anthony Dean, Russ Melanson, Shigate, Rickard Bergland, Soul Reaver 555, Shamsa Al Sawadi, Stuart Park, Stephen from the Broken Past on YouTube, Lee Benz, Niall Stone, Operational 117, and last but not least, AJ Computer Services UK. So massive thanks to each and every one of you.
There we go, we're through. We're not too far off the middle. Right, so we're through with that one there now. Now let's see what it feels like on here. Yeah, I think if I force that on, it might be okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to grind the end of this now to make it rough, because then if I make it rough, there's going to be more surface area for the super glue to attach to. Also, it would give it a bit of a key. You know what I probably should do? Just put this underneath it just to catch any of the metal bits.
Now, as much as I love my little grinding pen, it's just not big enough and strong enough to actually make much difference to this metal here. So let's get something a bit bigger.
Right, so I've got the Having Fun Repairs Dremel tool. Thank you, Sean. A tool you never need until you have one, and then you use it all the time. A bit like the Bosch multi-tool. So right now that doesn't want to go on very far at all, but it is tight, very tight. That's nice actually. I wonder, maybe the point on here is really helping. Let's drop that into position here. You can really see the crack there, can't you? But it feels tight. Let's just do a little test run. It needs to be pushed on more. It needs to be glued. Let's just see if it will overcome the gears. Because remember, it's only going to get better when we glue it. So now, I'm going to, let's start here. So we're going in, push up this one, there we go, and this one. To there, now do this one again. And to here, do this one again. Right, now we're going to start going down, 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 down. Will it go more? Will it go more? Come on. Yes, can you see these are now moving? Remember, it's not glued yet. Look, that's now going up. And now these are going to start going up. There. That's now going up, and that's going down. Wow, well it didn't do that before, and I haven't even glued it yet. It might be a lot noisier than it should be. And also, I'm not sure if the belt's going to come off because, you know, it's not aligned as much as it was before. Can you see this bottom one is sticking out more? But maybe when we put the glue on, I might be able to force it down a bit more. But there, and now that does something here. It's just amazing the amount of mechanisms that are moving at the same time. To think how this is just, you know, just engineered is crazy. There's so many things happening at once. Right, there we go. So let's try to pop this out again, and then it's actually very hard to pull out, but I want to get glue in it. So how am I going to do this? I'm just going to have to put a dot of glue in and hopefully it will all line up. And I'm going to probably have to keep on turning it, because otherwise it might set. Because there will be bits of glue around the edge. There we go. Put that in, try to force it along. There we go. Right, okay. Do you know what? I can see the metal there, so let's put some glue in it there now. Apologies, I know the filming is just awful. There's nothing I can do about it. Just the angles are not right for the camera. You need another cameraman to be constantly zooming in and zooming out on the right bit. But I'm going to put a lump of glue in there, and I am going to put some baking powder in here. Hopefully, I know I've put a lot there. Let's try to get that in position. So I don't care about there, I just don't want it on the mesh bits. Right, let me start moving this around, and hopefully it won't go off. Actually, I suppose I better vacuum up that, because that might become a bit abrasive. Get some IPA and take some of that off. It's definitely going more than it was before. So I suppose we'll get the rubber band on and keep pushing it in and out, and then see if, see if it can do it itself. Remember, I'm using my finger. The rubber band might not have the strength for this now. Yeah, okay. I suppose we should put a little bit of Molykote in there. Right, Molykote EM30L. Haven't used this in ages. Well, you know, even if we get one go out of it, it will be a success. I'm always disheartened when it comes to these things here, because I just know it's not like changing a capacitor or a resistor or something and you know it's going to work. It's just not, needs a new gear. I'll tell you what I will do. Let me have a very quick look. I've got boxer gears, but they're not, they're just normal plastic gears like that. As far as I know, there's no beveled ones in there, but I'll just have a very quick check. Well, I've had a look. These are all my gears that I've got, and there's only one bevel gear in the whole thing, and it's this one here, and it's way too big. It's, yeah, much bigger than the one that's there. So there's no way that that's going to mesh, and I can't like sand it down because the points of the teeth are too low. So basically, I haven't got an option. This is the only one that I've got. Well, I'm going to pop this belt on, and you can place your bets on whether we're going to get one go out of it, whether we'll get no goes out of it, or whether we might actually get quite a few. I actually don't know. Right, there we go. So the original belt's back on. Let's plug it in and see what it's going to do. You ready? So you can see the front, you can see all of it there. I'm going to plug it in now. Come on. For the first time in probably 20 years, Let's see if this is going to do anything. Well, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not 20 years, 15 years. Ready? Here we go. Here we go. Uh-oh. Why are you not... Why are you not going in? Is it not out enough? Right, let's unplug it. Let me just try it from here. Right, good. That's come out. So now, will you go back in? Yes. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes. Yes. Oh my word. Oh my word. Amazing. Okay. It's done the tape. Shall I press play? Holy moly. Wow. It looks like it's playing. Shall I risk fast forwarding it? Let's stop. Now, let me try fast forward. That's this one here. Ooh. Wow, and it's counting up. I don't know if that's minutes or what. Maybe that's minutes. Oh my word. Stop. Shall I try rewind? Oh, that's brilliant. Doesn't seem quite as quick that way. Stop. Play again. Now I know I'm tempting fate, but I'm going to stop it and eject it. Ready? Come on, come on, come on. That moved up nice there. Oh my word. Right, I'm going to try it one more time. And that's coming to a stop. Do you know what's really nice? I didn't show it on camera. I shouldn't probably be touching it. But this here is so rock solid on. Like there's zero play, you know? It just feels so well made, which I'm sure is the same with all of them. A lot of these I think have Philips insides, or Grundig insides apparently is another one that B&O use. And they're both very good insides. I used to have a Grundig TV. And I fixed up an old Grundig radio that I gave to Timothy, because he come visit me when I did the Nebworth show with my Rolls Royce. Come on now. It does need a little bit more force to push it in there. Well, that's fantastic. I mean, it sounds a little bit rattly down here, but I really don't care. I'm going to do it once more. Brilliant.
So now what's left to do is put it all back together, which only involves putting the top on, 4 screws, put those little side bits on, do up the 2 screws, and then I'm going to give it a nice good clean, see if we can make it nice shiny black gloss again. And yeah, hopefully then at the very end I'll bring it into the main room and I'll show you Homeward Bound working. Hope I don't get done for a copyright strike on that.
Okay, we are ready. Now, clearly a little TV like this isn't going to do it justice, but I'll tell you what would do it justice. Look at that B&O TV there. Look at the size of the built-in, not soundbar, built-in speakers. This thing looks an absolute beast. Annoyingly, I think it's only 720p though, but it's not working. I've got to fix it in a video. I've had this now for about 1.5 years. I still haven't got round to looking at it, but if you look really closely along here somewhere, it actually says Bang & Olufsen. I don't know if you can see that, just along here. So I'm sure the sound on that really will be awesome. That's a pretty good finish there, look at that. Okay, let me get the camera on the tripod and we will see if we have any picture. Okay, I'm on SCART here. This is going to be live. I haven't done this myself. I think it's going to work. Right, are you ready? Look, as soon as I did that, it came on there. Right, it says stop. It didn't say that before. It said eject, didn't it? Very noisy. Right, here we go. Play. Come on. Fantastic. There was something there. There. Yes! I've got something working. Let me hear the sound.
Cats are smarter than dogs, huh? Right. She doesn't even know the meaning of the word
Do you know what? The tracking looks okay. Look, there's no lines going around it.
Spots his unsuspecting victim. Slowly, he sneaks through the tall grass.
I better be careful, actually. I've got a feeling Homeward Bound Disney would be on the copyright channel, list. Let me just... Can I rewind it while I'm playing it or not? No, don't think so. And it's counting down here, so that's good. I remember as a kid I was always told never just press play, always press stop, but I wonder does it make much difference?
I'm keeping my eye on you, pup.
Oh, that's brilliant. I wish I could show you more, but I can't. But anyway, the sound on this isn't going to do anything justice anyway. Let's just fast forward. Let's go up to 20 here. So I presume they must be minutes. So that is pretty quick. Interestingly, it went back to 16 there. Let's go fast forward again. Let's see if I press stop this time. 21. Oh, I don't know. It's weird that when I press play, it didn't stay at 21. You know. Well, look at that. That is that's perfect. You know. There's no lines on that screen at all.
Something is keeping Peter from
Looks really, really nice.
So I'm going to go to him.
Right, I better stop it. So there we have it. I thoroughly enjoyed that one there, purely because of the kind of fault finding, and I was on the right path at the very beginning. It's a shame that it's not a proper fix, but I'm thinking, I think that one could actually be 3D printed. It would be too beyond me, even if I was getting into 3D printing, to be able to measure it because everything was at an angle because it's like a bevel gear. But you never know, in 5 or 10 years' time, maybe even now it's possible, you might be able to put that on something for it to scan it, and then I wouldn't have to get involved with any 3D modelling or anything like that. And then even if somebody hasn't done it before, if it can scan it and print it, definitely in the future that will be possible. I personally think that Bang & Olufsen products look so nice, I think that they would be worth something in the future. And it's just that in the time that I've been collecting them, maybe apart from this, none of the other ones have seemed to go up in value, you know, like the tape players and CD players and also the audio amps. Even though they look beautiful from the 1970s, they don't seem to be any more expensive now than they were maybe 6 years ago. So whether in another 10 years' time they will be of value, or do they take up too much room in a modern house today when realistically, who is listening to cassettes? And, well, CDs, yes. So, yeah, videos now, I'm not too sure. It definitely seemed to be more expensive than when I bought it. But I don't know, is there this new thing where people are collecting videos again, like they like the sound of records? Maybe people do like this. I'm not too sure. Anyway, I enjoyed the fix. It was interesting seeing the inside of it. Even though it might not be Bang & Olufsen, it still looks amazing on the inside. And although it's very plain looking, it looks kind of timeless. And that finish there does look like kind of some sort of metallic paint you get on a car. So I think you can tell that a bit of quality's gone into it anyway. If you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up. I will see you again very soon on another video. Thank you so much for watching.
Bubblegum fights on the 3rd floor. Comedy specials at 8. Fishing rod in the quiet field. The wood I caught wouldn't be big enough for you and I, and say I did great. And all of these moments, they add up to something that feels so big. And all that I'm left with's a dry throat. I lose my head when you call me up and ask if I'm